YouTube. The dollar is being abandoned as the system implodes, folks. Are you strapped in and ready? Thank you for joining me tonight. Sunday night session, March 26, 2023. Really looking forward to running it up here once again. The Sunday night sessions are always fun as we look back on a historic week and we look forward to the events to come. Let's break this whole thing down for you guys. Now we're looking at this cryptocurrency market. We got a Bitcoin back on up to 27.95, basically right below 28,000, 17.75 for your Ethereum and a 44.91, just below 45 cents for our XRP. Let's take a look at the Sticks 4-hour Qcoin chart, 44 cents. XRP building support above 40 cents. We absolutely love to see it. And I got some TA coming for you guys at the end of this session. Let's have a little bit of fun tonight. And if you guys can do me a favor, let's smash that thumbs up. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our content. And let's get it rolling right on into the current events. Okay, so we have massive protests in Israel after the Prime Minister Netanyahu fired defense minister who opposed judicial overhaul. So we're seeing it was France last week. This week, Israel. Historic, massive protests taking place, and the people are not having it. Now, this one was very, very interesting to see. What we have here, Wall Street Silver shares this one. If the U.S. dollar's global supremacy erodes, America will face a reckoning like none before. A surprising segment on CNN. That's right, folks. Mainstream media, CNN, covering this topic. What we've been covering here, we've been shouting here from the rooftop that the dollar is going to fail here if we continue down this road. And we finally start to see the mainstream come along. It was just like the video we dropped yesterday with the mainstream news. Finally admitting that XRP is for real. Remember, we covered that yesterday. If you didn't check it out, we dropped 2 quick updates for you yesterday. After we go through this live stream, you guys can go check those out. But we were talking about how the mainstream media was finally recognizing that XRP was for real. And now we see the mainstream news here, CNN, recognizing what's happening to the dollar, global supremacy eroding. Folks, take a listen to this one.
Here's my take. The most interesting outcome of the 3-day summit between Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping got limited media attention. Describing their talks, Putin said, "We are in favor of using the Chinese yuan for settlements between Russia and the countries of Asia, Africa, and Latin America." So, the world's second largest economy and its largest energy exporter are together actively trying to dent the dollar's dominance as the anchor of the international financial system. Will they succeed? The dollar is America's last surviving superpower. It gives Washington unrivaled economic and political muscle. It can slap sanctions on countries unilaterally, which frees that country out of large parts of the world economy. And Washington can spend freely, certain that its debt will be bought up by the rest of the world.
Now we're going to get right on into it. I'm going to show you guys they're dumping our debt at a record pace, and they're dumping our dollar as well. Let's listen to this one. This is the Kenyan president warning against citizens hoarding U.S. dollars. Take a listen.
For the people who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you surely might go into losses. You better do what you must do, because this market is going to be different in a couple of weeks. For the people who work numbers.
Sure on the full context of that, but he says in a couple weeks this market is going to be different, and you can see how quickly things are shaking up on just a weekly basis right now. Every day the news cycle is just full, and we're questioning who is going to be the next bank. It's not a matter of if another bank is going to collapse, it's who's going to collapse next. Who's the next country that's going to dump our treasury bonds? Who's the next country that's going to do bilateral trade agreements outside of the US dollar? This is all moving and accelerating at a rapid pace, and this is the destruction and people abandoning dollars. Literally the president giving us some free advice. Not meant to be financial advice, I guess. Free advice. Well, maybe he is giving you financial advice. He calls it free advice for his citizens that are hoarding U.S. dollars, you might want to reconsider. Now, like I said, China cuts U.S. Treasury holdings to the lowest level since the global financial crisis, and the sales are accelerating. At the same time, China is increasing its gold reserves. Now, folks, we're not waiting around either. We're picking up silver, we're picking up gold, and we are not going to get left behind. And we're also accumulating some XRP. We'll get more into that at the end of this episode. Big, massive crypto update, a little bit of buyback drama. It's unfortunate that we have to address it again, but we do. But without further ado, continuing on with the current events here. Luke Groman, heightened foreign selling of U.S. Treasuries equals USD is too strong. Foreigners own 7.4 trillion in USTs, U.S. Treasury bills they could theoretically sell to raise U.S. dollars. 7.4 trillion in Treasury bonds. For context, around that 7.4 trillion, foreigners sold a net of 253 billion in U.S. Treasuries January 22 through January 23. So in 1 year, 253 billion lost. Now remember though, folks, 100 billion was sold just by China in Q4 alone. So almost half of that amount that was sold last year total was China in Q4, if they're calculating with the same numbers, contributing to the worst year for U.S. Treasuries in decades. Yeah, historically, it was the worst year on record for the Treasuries. Now, Gold Telegraph reporting, the universe has a way of balancing the scales, reminding us that karma is real. When a country weaponizes its assets or systems, it will eventually lead to a collaborative effort among nations to seek a resolution, gradually, then suddenly. Drip, drip, flood. That is the dynamics, right? The liquidity that's about to pour out of the equities, out of treasuries, out of the dollar, and into real commodities like gold and silver, right? And into other alternative currencies. You saw Bitcoin do a little run-up, cute little run-up to 28K. The Bitcoin bros very excited. Stay tuned, crypto update on the way. We are in the midst of a balancing of the scales event, a historical one that hasn't been seen in 100 years. And it is all 100% lies from the Western media. And another point to reiterate that. CNBC has reportedly delisted the credit default swap data for 5 banks, including JP Morgan and Bank of America. They do not want you to know the truth of this banking crisis, the amount of bets that are being placed on the failure of one of the 5 largest banks in the United States of America, JP Morgan and Bank of America. They don't want you to know this data, right? They are hiding this up. They are covering it up. They are now calculating the CPI lie with different metrics, right? They're no longer calling it a recession. We're not calling it a bailout, okay? It's just a backstop. It's just a swap line. It all equals the destruction of the dollar, and it's a matter of who is going to get caught holding this worthless fiat, right? Now, Anthony Welfare, CBDC advisor for Ripple. Banking crisis facts. In 2020, the reserve requirement ratio was set to 0. That means that banks do not need to keep any reserves at all. Folks, this isn't fractional reserve banking. This is no reserves at all. Is it me, or is it just pure suicide for the banking system? The reserve requirement ratio, or cash reserve ratio, is the percentage of customer deposits and other liquid assets that commercial banks must store within its own institution or with the central bank. Now, how beautiful is this, folks? Right? To see the CBDC advisor for Ripple, to see Ripple at the forefront of calling out and breaking down the situation. And this is something that nobody really wanted to talk about, right? About how in 2020 we opened up Pandora's box and we literally changed the way that everything is done. We see that the reserve requirements, right? We used to have fractional reserve lending where, $1 would get lent out 10 times. Now, no reserves required at all. And we have trillions of dollars in backstop bailout funding to now keep the system alive that's being injected, right, on its last breaths here. And we just keep on giving it more stimulus, one more injection, right? Now, we know the situation's bad because we just had an emergency meeting take place with Janet Yellen and other officials from our federal government. Folks, let's take a look here. Wall Street Silver. Attendees of Janet Yellen's Friday emergency FSOC meeting. Hint, everything is not fine, which is what they came out of the meeting telling us. Is it everything's just fine? The system remains strong. System is resilient. Janet Yellen, Secretary of the Treasury, Powell, Michael Hsu, Acting Comptroller of the Currency, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, SEC Gary Gensler, Chairman of the FDIC, Chairman of the CFTC, Director of the FHA, National Credit Union Administration, Insurance Expertise, Office of Financial Research, Federal Insurance Office. Yep, got it. So, emergency meeting. I don't know when the last time a meeting like this has taken place with this many people, right, all together, and then they leave, they come out. It's like the joint statement that Fed Chair Powell and Janet Yellen put out last week about supporting UBS buying out Credit Suisse and America's system remaining resilient. It's kind of like the Jim Cramer, inverse Cramer effect, right? If they're telling us everything's fine, right, we want to look here between the lines. And when we look at this data, folks, like I said, we opened up Pandora's box in 2020, and this whole new system is about to be reset right before us. Since March 2020, we have seen the following: the largest pandemic in over 100 years, over $4 trillion in printed stimulus, interest rates lowered to 0% overnight, interest rates rising at their fastest pace in history, inflation at its highest in 40 years, closest we've been to World War III, oil prices going from negative to $100 a barrel with record high gas prices, largest crypto bear market in history, record high credit card debt of $986 billion. I'm waiting to get the new print on that. I think that we're going to blow right through $1 trillion in credit card debt. Most unaffordable housing market in history, less affordable than 2008. Second and third largest bank collapse in U.S. history. If you started investing in 2020, you have seen more historic events than most people have seen in 20 years. Volatility is the new normal, and as we just covered, we now have zero reserve requirements in the banking system. Don't call it a bailout, backstops. You guys understand just how big the lies and the deception is. The world stage is watching us, right? The United States slipping away with that reserve currency status that we once had. Balaji. Now, this is the guy that made the $1 million bet, right? He thinks that Bitcoin is going to reach $1 million in the next 90 days. That's who this guy is. But he's summarizing this situation. He says, let's level set, shall we? On March 10th, a bank with $200 billion in assets went to zero overnight. I love that you know, the overnight memes in the XRP community, right? Folks thought that it was going to be about price mooning overnight, which I do think that the price is going to move at such a violent and rapid pace. It'll feel as if it's overnight in the blink of an eye, right? But this has really just been building up for a long time coming. As we look, right? A bank with $200 billion in assets went to zero overnight. Since then, we've seen the following things happen. Emergency Sunday Fed print for domestic banks up to $2 trillion estimate of amount to be printed. $18 trillion estimate of amount to back all deposits. 186 banks reporting similarly insolvent. $500 billion wired from banks seeking safe havens. $150 billion in discount window, more than 2008. $400 billion printed in days, reversing most of quantitative tightening. Emergency Sunday Fed print for foreign banks. Joint Sunday statement, U.S. banks are resilient. 5 dead banks, including too big to fail Credit Suisse. Rumbles around Deutsche Bank. Rumbles around Charles Schwab. Emergency Friday meeting of Yellen and FSOC. Another statement, the U.S. banks are resilient. Statement, further actions may be necessary. Remember, they raised interest rates again, another 25 basis points, and they're leaving more on the table. Same thing happened at all the other central banks, raising by 50 basis points and 25 basis points and leaving more rate hikes on the table. All this comes against a backdrop of articles and charts from the Fed and FDIC talking in coded language about how many U.S. banks are insolvent due to $620 billion in unrealized losses caused by the Fed's surprise rate hikes. Despite this growing concern, the banking crisis seems to not have broken out of financial news. Arguably, it is intentionally being downplayed outside of the space where it can't be ignored. For example, I haven't seen too many White House tweets on the banking crisis, but I have seen them meeting Ted Lasso. Perhaps they simply don't want to panic anyone by telling them their bank may have a problem. Now, remind everyone, right? Let's go back to the FDIC meeting that took place in November of last year, where they specifically said that, right? We don't want the panic to know about this. The panic that would ensue if people realized what's going on here, right? and how they talked about how the simulations that took place after 2020 allowed them to test and see who was going to get bailed out, who was going to get covered, who was systemically important in the next crisis. And now the next crisis is here. Despite this growing concern, the banking crisis seems to not have broken out of the financial news. Arguably, it is intentionally being downplayed outside of the space where it can't be ignored. For example, I haven't seen too many White House tweets on the banking crisis, but I have seen them meeting Ted Lasso. Perhaps they simply don't want to panic anyone by telling them their bank may have a problem, but let's be clear. This is a Western banking crisis. This is not normal. This isn't anyone's hallucination. We are not crazy, folks. And reporting on it isn't the same as causing it. 4 figures and 18 citations follow. So he's given us his sources. Now, he's making a bet Bitcoin goes to $1 million in 90 days. Okay? I don't think that that's going to work out for him. And the reason why is this. Will Chart shares this with us right here. Institutional investors buy Bitcoin because it has the most liquidity, not because of it being the best crypto asset. Over time, other coins will take market share from Bitcoin. It's inevitable. So even though the dynamics and the panic and the fear have people running to Bitcoin, like most of us, we came into the space and Bitcoin was the first crypto that we ever heard of, right? It's got that first mover advantage. And then it has the most liquidity. So when you come into the market, it's the easiest crypto to buy. But then as you learn about DLT blockchain technology further, you realize it has no utility. You realize the story is this facade and this deception of lies and this narrative that is not based on any facts as far as it doing anything, right? Whether you're looking at it as a store of value, peer-to-peer cash, it works, it does perform for peer-to-peer cash transactions. Yes, you can move value rather inefficiently. There is always a cost. The network sometimes shuts down. And the whole thing, I'm not going to get into it, right? We understand that most people are coming into Bitcoin right now because of the panic, the fear, and it's the first crypto they find. It has the most liquidity. It's at the top of every exchange. But I truly believe that you're going to see a flood into utility and a flood into liquidity tokens like XRP as people are demanding. It's the only way to survive is to go seek out real assets that do store value and real assets that have utility, liquidity. That's what we need. It's the only way to survive. Now we're continuing on. If you haven't already, please smash that thumbs up for us and let's keep it rolling. The Kobesi letter. I got to make a point on real estate here before we go into the cryptocurrency update, folks. Quick point on real estate. This is a very great opportunity for those of you that are tapped in. Over the next 5 years, more than $2.5 trillion in commercial real estate debt will mature. This is by far more than any 5-year period in history. Meanwhile, rates have more than doubled, and commercial real estate is only 60 to 70% occupied. Refinancing these loans is going to be incredibly expensive and likely lead to the next major crisis. The worst part? 70% of commercial real estate loans are owned by small banks. Uh-oh. So not only are they holding $600 billion in unrealized losses, right? $600 billion in unrealized losses in treasury bonds and mortgage-backed securities that just had their worst year ever. But now you're starting to see the ripple effects reach real estate. 70% of commercial real estate loans are owned by small banks as we start to see commercial real estate implode. Over the next 5 years, $2.5 trillion that needs to be resettled, restructured, refinanced. Rapidly rising rates are teaching everyone a valuable lesson. There's no such thing as free money. Now, I wanted to show you guys this quick plug. We just did a real estate update within the Discord group, and this was last month. So right here, real estate update. I posted this one a month ago, and this was a conversation that we had in our Discord group. And we have a member in our group who used to teach real estate, part of Robert Kiyosaki's programs back in the day. He was actually one of the leading teachers in implementing Robert Kiyosaki's programs, right? So this guy used to teach for Robert Kiyosaki, helped Robert in many ways. Now he's a member of our Discord group, and so he was one of the leaders. But we've been having conversations within our Discord group about becoming the bank, being that lender of last resort, right? When these people are about to fold, when they have no opportunity, nowhere to go, right? It's an opportunity for us to step in, right? And there's different ways to structure this deal. There's 100 different ways to slice this one. But what does this mean to you? It means that you need to look at your real estate portfolio right now, whether you just have one single family house under your belt, that your personal house that you live in, whether you rent and you're about to become a first-time home buyer, you're looking to get into it, you're looking to start your real estate portfolio, or you're a seasoned investor. We have to look at our portfolio. We have to consider the changes in this market, and we have to accept the reality that the Fed is telling us that they're not going to pivot anytime soon. They are not going to save us anytime soon. If they do, we should be pleasantly surprised. But we need to change our business strategy for real estate based off of a 7% interest rate environment. Right? That's your average mortgage rate, right? Now, we've been talking in our group here. We've been having these real estate updates within the Discord group about house hacking, about Airbnbs, about different ways to basically still facilitate transactions and get deals done during times like this, where we've gone to 7%, 8% interest rates, right? Where we've actually been building out the infrastructure, the team, the relationships, so that we can attack this market when the pain comes. So this is an opportunity that I've been waiting for. We're preparing, like I said, ready to move this year, cash on the sidelines for real estate, watching the market closely, remaining patient, team, infrastructure in place, right? And it allows us to move with conviction, right? And the same thing needs to be applied, right? We need to be thinking about this in the same way. If you own real estate right now, if you're thinking about making some moves here, I have to understand this is a different environment. This isn't participation trophy real estate investing where everyone's a winner, okay? So we have to adjust. And like I said here, we just did this real estate call just a month ago. That's a private call for the Discord group because we can only talk, some of these deals, the real examples, real life stories, real deals. Some of that, we can't talk about all that publicly, but in our Discord group, the beautiful thing here is we're getting input from everyone. Like I said, we got experts that used to teach for Robert Kiyosaki. We got myself, who's just a doofus moron trying to buy his first property, and I share that experience with my group and how we're maneuvering to do that, right? But then we have others in the group that are doing Airbnb, others that are doing house hacking. We've already had multiple Discord real estate calls, so we can get you caught up to speed on that. And I had another community member actually comment today about how he was going back through the business development programs. I hadn't dropped any business development programs in a while, but we have more on the way, okay? We've already done 3 installments of the business development program, and I have a plan for about a dozen already on the way. And these are programs that are, meant to share real-life examples, real deals that we're doing. We're not just talking about this, right? Like I said, with real estate, I'm not a real estate investor. I don't own any real estate. I rent where I live. And I'm ready to absolutely snipe out a deal this year, right? But I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a real estate expert in any way, right? Now, well-versed in the asset class for sure, and absolutely ready to move with the team that are actually experts and do have experience, right? But I just like to keep it real and then bring in other experts, like my good friend Johnny. Huge shout out to Johnny for throwing it down. Now let's keep it rolling, folks. I appreciate everyone. And you can go to my website, zachrector.com, to sign up for the Patreon and get access to the Discord group. We'd love to see you in there. Now let's continue on. Key events this week coming up, folks. Let's watch out for these ones. Consumer confidence data on Tuesday. Home sales data on Wednesday. Q4 2022 GDP data on Thursday. Now I'm really looking forward to this. Let's check that Q4 2022 GDP data on Thursday. Treasury Secretary Yellen speaking on Thursday. No telling Yellen, you don't say. PCE inflation data on Friday. 4 Fed speakers this week. That is massive. Make sure we give our good friend, the Kubesi Letter, a follow over there on Twitter. Now, let's get right on into our cryptocurrency update, folks. If you haven't already, let's smash the thumbs up. Let's share this one to Twitter and share this one out to far and wide to your communities. You guys can go to Twitter and retweet my tweet. Let's get everyone in here for the party. We're running it up here, Sunday night session. I appreciate everyone so much. My good friend Ian Binns sharing this one on Twitter. XRP becomes the largest trading token on Korea's major exchanges. What is this anomaly? Now, folks, it's no anomaly. It's people realizing where the real opportunity is. XRP is already massive in this region, and so it is no surprise. But you're starting to see the articles hit. You're starting to see And TikTok, by the way, can you guys do me a favor and tap the screen and share the stream? I greatly appreciate that. Just tap the screen and share the stream, and let's run it up here Sunday night session. God bless you all. No surprise. They're eating it up over there in these regions that have clarity. These countries that have provided regulatory clarity, ODL firing up, and we're seeing they love XRP. Absolutely. A lot of cross-border payments, remittances in that region as well. So important. Now I see XR Peaky Blinder 2-spot. Well done, inspiring business videos, bro. Yeah, XR Peaky Blinder is my good friend here within the Discord group. Going back and watching some content that we put down that is just timeless. Starting your business, comparing side hustle versus real business, right? External versus internal growth. Those were the 3 webinars that we've done so far, and I got a lot more on the way for you guys. And I just love to hear the stories of you guys building out your businesses, building out your side hustle, getting your promotions at work. You're not an entrepreneur, right? You're not trying to go start your own business, but you want more cash flow. So what are we doing? We're getting our game up. We're asking for more responsibilities. We're getting a raise at work. I love to hear that stories, along with the real estate moves as well. God bless you guys. Now we have this one from Emmy Yoshikawa. Emmy Yoshikawa. Excited to participate in the Harvard Blockchain Conference 2023 next weekend. I will be joining the panel on institutional crypto adoption as a panelist, along with fellow panelists from Coinbase, Goldman Sachs, and Digita Assets. Love to see it. Emmy Yoshikawa, Ripple, VP Strategy and Operations. So professional, so classy. Crypto means business over at Ripple, and we absolutely love to see it. Now, let's get into the fun stuff, folks, because like I said before getting on here tonight, unfortunately, I have to address the buyback drama again. But the good news is that David Schwartz chimed in and he actually dropped some gems for us. Now, before we get into it, this whole thing started because the haters have to post another clip of Jimmy Valley and Crypto Lewis talking, having a good conversation. In fact, the video was titled, "The Most Beautiful Conversation I've Ever Had," right? A beautiful conversation about the opportunity at hand, building out this new financial system, the opportunity in utility cryptocurrencies, but people want to take a 20-second clip and take it way out of proportion and misrepresent the ideas that are being shared, and they want to slander people's names, and they just want to talk smack. And they're desperate for attention because they're a failing platform, and they're really lame. I shouldn't speak on it any further than that, but let's just stick straight to it, folks. What we're doing is we're exposing the corruption. We're trying to protect our assets as against the government. Now, I was going to post this weekend. On average, the average American is giving up 30% of their income to the government. So this is a government that takes 30% of your wealth that you're earning on a yearly basis. And can we even call it wealth, right? This is just what you're trying to live on. They take 30% of what you're trying to live on every single year, on average. Some of you worse, 40, 50% on taxes. Now, this is the same government that also did confiscate the gold and then set it at a higher price. So we have that. We have the backstop now of trillions of dollars to backstop the banks as they go through a liquidity crisis. Same government that takes 30% of our income on average on a yearly basis. You bet your ass I want to protect my assets from these criminals. You bet I want to protect my assets, my cash, my silver, my real estate when I buy my real estate, my cryptocurrency, the solution of on-demand liquidity. You bet I want to protect that from a government that takes it from us every single day. You bet. And this is why this conversation is so important, is because we are directly over the target. These guys are lost in the sauce, lost in the technical nuance, have never accomplished anything in their lives besides writing a little bit of code. They are not at the top of the building. They're not on the top floor with the executives getting deals done with trillions of dollars on the line. Writing a little code, which is important. Shout out to the developers. God bless you guys. Okay? But there's a difference between being over the target and laying it down on what we can do to protect our assets when we have the UCC Article 12 take free rule being implemented in states right now as we speak. And if you don't know what that is, that's exactly my point. while we're getting lost on the technical nuance, on trying to misrepresent what the whole buyback committee was all about, laws are being passed. We haven't received our Songbird and Flare from Coinbase. Class action lawsuit filed by Fred Rispoli. Got him on our show. Got Jimmy Valley on our show. Huge shout out to John Deaton. We try to give these guys a platform because they're on the front lines fighting the good fight. Are we here for a 50,000 buyback from the Fed? Absolutely not. All we want is our country back. All we want to do is protect our assets from the government. Like Donald Trump, like Elon, like Bezos. All these guys that pay no tax. That's the program I'm trying to implement. All these guys that have elaborate strategies for protecting their assets. That's what I'm trying to do. And what has our government done in the past when they're trying to reset the currency? Confiscated the gold, set it at a higher price. So I'm sorry that I don't think my government's very friendly to us. I'm sorry that our government is the one that's taking 30% on average of Americans' paychecks every year. They're robbing us. Now, inflation is the hidden tax as well. And then the bailouts to the banks. You see, this is the mature conversation that I like to have in regards to the buyback. And it's not even about the buyback. That term should not be used. It's about exposing the corruption of a DC entity that hijacked this country. That's what this is about. Let me bring up and share this beautiful call out here by Jimmy Valley of Jay Clayton. My man Jimmy is right over the target. Jay Clayton speaking on the gatekeeper's burden, the special role of securities lawyers. He gave this speech on January 22nd, 2018, approximately 5 months before Bill Hinman gave the regulatory free pass. Clayton was the only SEC commissioner that was provided a copy of Hinman's speech. The special role of securities lawyers, the gatekeeper's burden. This is from Jay Clayton, former head of the SEC, on his last day in office, decides it's time to file that lawsuit against Ripple. My first message is simple and a bit stern. Market professionals, especially gatekeepers, need to act responsibly and hold themselves to high standards. Our securities laws and 80 plus years of practice assume that securities lawyers, accountants, underwriters, and dealers will act responsibly. It is expected that they will bring expertise, judgment, and a healthy dose of skepticism to their work. Okay, so this is the role, the gatekeeper's burden. Then Jimmy Valley asked the question, how'd Jay Clayton do as the head gatekeeper in performing the standard he set out for gatekeepers, right? And we have this. Let me pull this up and see what we're working here with Jimmy. Yeah, so we have Jay Clayton up top, right? Michael, and basically right here, Jimmy has just circled all these people that were part of this. All these guys that were part of the Ethereum free pass, choosing to go after Ripple on behalf of the SEC. Individuals, divisions at the SEC permitted to review, comment on the Hinman speech. These are the guys and gals who were in charge and allowed to review and comment on the Hinman speech that they allowed to go through. This is where this whole problem started from, folks. It was our government that attacked us. They're the ones that are making the claim that everybody selling XRP on the secondary market is selling a security. Now, the conversation came back again this weekend. Now, before I continue, Lorit311, I don't know if that's how you say your name. Lorit311, thank you for the 10 spot. Zach, how long do you think XRP staking will happen? I want some of that mailbox money to pay for my future investments. Hashtag cash flow. Oh, it's going to be coming. It's going to be coming. I mean, some platforms, it's already here. I'm about to talk about it actually a little bit more. But once we get XLS 30D update with the automated market makers, you are going to see all sorts of opportunities for staking. All sorts of opportunities for staking. Now, the big question is going to be, who do you trust with your XRP? Now, that's where this whole conversation started this weekend, is Crypto Airy had to share this clip because they got to keep on getting attention. They have to keep on getting attention, desperate for attention, and they have to keep on bringing back up the buyback even though they're the biggest haters of this whole idea. An idea that they hate and despise so much, they keep on bringing up. Funny how that works. She says, it appears the XRP buyback is morphing into a bank. Looks like participants would still be sending their XRP. Not a game I want to play with my XRP. Now, in this clip, I'm not going to play it, but it's just Jimmy Valley talking with Crypto Lewis about setting up a bank, right? About establishing a bank and being able to collateralize our XRP to go out and buy gold, is what he stated. The example that Jimmy used. Now, Jimmy's just thinking ahead. That's all this is. It's just thinking ahead about how to leverage the important asset that we hold. The asset that I believe, well, I know for a fact, is under attack. This asset is under attack by our government, i.e., the people that hold it are under attack by our government. They're the ones that fired the first shot at us, right? And so we got a gentleman here in Jimmy Valley, one of the best securities lawyers in the United States, actually, who's been trying to have a conversation about the fair market value of XRP and how to protect this thing and about what we're going to be able to do with this asset in the future. Is he saying that I want to force everyone to give me their XRP in my bank that I'm going to create and I'm going to be the one that deems XRP worth $10,000? No, that is not what he's saying. But this is how they are misconstruing, misrepresenting the ideas that a guy like Jimmy, who's just a good guy, a patriot, who is trying to defend all XRP holders, and they are slandering by the things that they are saying. Just downright lies. And they're missing the whole adult conversation here that we're trying to have about these assets. The generational wealth exit strategies that we're trying to build out. The different claims that we're trying to make against people, Coinbase, that hasn't given us our songbird or flare. God bless Fred Rispoli for filing the class action lawsuit. God bless John Deaton for making it so easy to write a letter to your congressmen or representatives, senators. It took me 30 seconds to do it the other day by going to his website, Connect to Congress link. Connect to Congress link, and it takes you 30 seconds, and you get a letter typed up and sent out to your representatives. God bless these guys for fighting that good fight. And it's just a shame that, some of these people within the community want to slander these guys that are just trying to have a conversation, like myself. Just trying to have a conversation about building generational wealth, protecting my XRP against the government that's known to, steal the reserve currency and set it at a higher price when they reset currencies. A government that's known to go back on their promise of backing the dollar by gold, just like they did in the 70s. And we're bad guys for having this conversation, for trying to protect our XRP, having an insurance policy, making our claims on how important we think this asset is, making them loud, making them often. Arwudini Oliver Toussaint. That's an interesting name there. Oliver, thank you. 5 spot. Zach, in your opinion, is 40,000 XRP a good solid bag? I think that you can do something with 40,000 XRP. I think you could. And I wouldn't recommend saying how much XRP you got. Stay safe out there, folks. We got a lot of people watching us. A lot of people want our XRP. This whole conversation starts with this gentleman right here. Like I said, it's unfortunate. I'm not here to get into the drama, but I'm just here to explain why this conversation is important. Here we go. And remember, folks, we finally have David Schwartz chiming in. Stay tuned. Here we go. Ripple it in. .nz. Now, he's one of these developers. Huge shout out. Some of the things that he does and says, I agree with. I agree with these guys. I agree with these developers. I mean, they do a great job of clarifying how the XRP ledger actually works. They're actually keeping the thing running. God bless them. But he comes in here on this video below, like I said, once again, Crypto Airy, desperate for attention here, posting this. And we got this conversation get started again this weekend. I wonder if anyone has told Jimmy that XRP has no value to borrow or lend against. How can you use it as collateral? Very interesting statement here by this gentleman. Now, I'm just going to skip on down here. Right here, he's talking about someone asked about gold. He says gold is mined. Somebody does work and adds the value to gold. XRP could be used as collateral, but because it has no inherent stable value and is very volatile in its price, the risk is extremely high that the collateral may not recover the loan, a loan shark's dream. So he's talking about, putting up your XRP as collateral on a loan. Okay. I'm going to skip to where David actually chimes in. Right here. Loan sharks would be the only ones really interested in collateralizing an asset that has no redemption value. Most certainly not risk adverse real banks or money lenders. This is where David chimes in and he says, maybe I don't understand what you mean by redemption value. Do stocks have redemption value? Do dollars? Now Ripple responds, the issuer, the government gave it redemption value. They promised that face value of that note or coin can be redeemed for its face value. We have an issuer, we have a face value, we have redemption value, and we also have lies when they took us off the gold standard, when they took back the gold and set it at a higher price after they did it. So we also have that. Now David responds, 1 XRP can be redeemed for 1 XRP on the ledger just as much as $1 can be redeemed for $1 from the government. If you mean some guarantee of value, stocks don't have that. They are routinely used as collateral. Right. So everyone can use their stocks as collateral for a loan to leverage, right? They are routinely used as collateral. Ripple responds, I understand that 1 XRP can be redeemed for 1 XRP, but 1 XRP has no inherent value. It is solely reliant on someone adding value to give it value and only holds that value for about 3.5 seconds. Buyers are the only ones who give XRP value, not sellers nor any issuer. Okay. But once again, if somebody's willing to pay you 40 cents, if they're willing to pay you 50 cents, that is value, right? So yeah, no inherent value, right? But there is value. There is value. It is not worth nothing. I really don't even understand what point he is trying to make. It's really absurd. But David responds, if a company buys back its own stock, it's acting as a buyer, not an issuer. Unless redemption is contractually required, it is always going to be at the same fair market value a buyer would buy the asset for and not the guaranteed either. Once again, fair market value. Exactly. If you asked someone to explain why stocks make good collateral for loans, the number one reason would be that they're liquid. I'd be surprised if anything but possible issuer buybacks or redemption would even be on that list. Factors that make, and this is good, right? This is what I was wanting to show you guys, this tweet right here. Factors that make XRP good collateral is its proven history of liquidity and reliable price discovery. The biggest negative of using XRP for collateral is its volatility, which means you need either over-collateralization, other assurances of payment, or have to charge high rates. So once again, when you're putting up a crypto like XRP up for collateral, right, you might want to make the loan, right, have a little bit of over-collateralization to cover for that volatility in that price, or other assurances of payment, or you charge a higher rate, right? This is where the free market is going to offer fair market value loans, fair market ways to collateralize your XRP. Now, this response here from Ripple is this. For 3.5 seconds approximately, the speed of the XRP ledger is an ODL partner's friend. The speed of the XRP ledger is a speculator of XRP's biggest enemy relative to ODL. Prove me wrong. David proves him wrong. Volatility should be a speculator's best friend for 2 reasons. Volatility can be turned directly into yield. 2, volatility means you need less investment for the same exposure. Did you even read my statement relative to ODL? David responds, that's just the thing. ODL benefits from low volatility and on its that's just the thing. ODL benefits from low volatility and on its time frame there's very little. Speculators benefit from high volatility and on their time frame there's a lot. So once again here folks, we have David coming in and chiming in and explaining what this whole conversation is about. How to leverage our XRP, the reserve digital asset of the new financial system, right? After we get this reset, after we go through all of this, how are we going to be able to keep our XRP and how are we going to be able to utilize it going forward? We want to be able to protect it and we want to be able to use it so that we can grow our wealth. It's very simple, right? David coming in with a level head, setting the record straight. And I don't get why it's so hard for these folks to understand that, right? They make up all these ridiculous claims, misrepresentation of the facts, slandering folks that are part of a committee, which really is just a group of folks that are trying to figure out how to protect their assets. That's all it is. And we're not the only ones having this conversation as David comes in and chimes in here. Level head approach. Yes, there's going to be ways, there's going to be programs. And then we had Matt Hamilton actually responding to me because I shared this tweet. David enters the conversation and explains how to collateralize your XRP. For myself, this has been the plan all along, leveraging XRP into more businesses and real estate. This has been our plan all along. Now, Matt Hamilton comes in here, i.e., what Nexo, Kava, Crypto.com, Binance, and plenty of others have been doing for years. Exactly. All platforms I did not trust with my XRP. I don't get why this is so hard to understand. I don't trust any of those platforms. And who's working on the solutions? Oh, gee, David Schwartz, Arthur Brito, go create PolySign. Wow. Funny how that works. They're creating the institutional grade custody platforms for you to be able to leverage your assets like XRP. Right? I don't get why this conversation has to be so toxic, has to be so immature. People completely misrepresenting and taking this into a place that it doesn't need to go. Stay focused on why we're here. We hold an asset that's going to be part of running and reset. It's going to be part of resetting and running the new financial system. So simple. He who has the gold and XRP makes the rules. So simple. And having a concern in protecting our XRP is 100% justified. 100% justified. Now, I've talked about this. So there's going to be tons of platforms. There already is, like you said, Nexo, Crypto.com, all these other platforms that did offer staking. They now had to end them because, once again, in the United States, our government is attacking staking. Our government is attacking XRP holders. Our government is attacking the XRP and digital asset space. So Nexo no longer offers staking for XRP. None of these platforms do here in the United States, right? That's the whole point. That's the whole problem. Now, I didn't trust them anyways. I'm waiting for a bank. I'm waiting to see the dust settle from this liquidity crisis, from this banking crisis. That's when I will determine. And I really do think that these banks, these institutions will be fighting. They will be battling for our business, battling for our XRP. Please, we're willing to give you more. We're willing to give you better terms on your loan for XRP. They're going to be fighting for it. And then I've also said this too. You know who the real people that are trying to take your XRP are? All these XRP Ledger tokens. I hate to say it. All these people that were coming after the buyback committee trying to say we're trying to get people to send their XRP. No, that was never part of it. And in fact, in the conversations with the whole committee, PolySign was one of the institutions that was being talked about for custodying our assets or facilitating some sort of transaction. Never involved anybody sending their XRP to Jimmy's wallet or the buyback committee's wallet. But that was all part of the misrepresentation and lies and slander by some of these haters and trolls and whatever these people are so upset about, right? So once again, I hadn't been talking about this for a couple months, really too much, because there hadn't been any really new developments within the committee and then the conversation. But then this conversation had just gone to such an immature and an unfortunate place. Very unfortunate place. Because they're missing the whole point, right? On why we're having an insurance policy, why we're talking about protecting this thing, why we're trying to get people to understand the fair market value of XRP is not 40 cents that we're trading at here today. The price discovery has been suppressed through a lawsuit, and we're about to find it once again. Yeah, and for this gentleman who's saying that XRP has no inherent value, we're about to find some value, and we're going to do it really quick. We're going to do it in a blink of an eye. Now, The other thing that pisses people off, Riddlers. Bearable Guy. Bearable Guy posted again today. It was a repost of an old one, but I got to bring this up because it's just important. It's just important to go back. It's just important. So this was an old post that Bearable Guy, for some reason, he retweeted it. It wasn't a retweet. It was actually a Reddit post here, but he shared it here once again. So I'm going to read this for everyone because it's very important. Bearable Guy 123 posted this 10 hours ago. This one was posted a few years ago, I think 2018, 2019. But we got to go through this again. Let's lay this all out. Hello, friends. As I've said before, Bearable Guy 123 is a jester and not a financial advisor. Consult with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Did you come along for the ride and witness the shaking of the cryptosphere as foretold? Now, what's funny about this is from years ago, right? But we're seeing it all continue to play out to this day. All still relevant more now than was back years ago. Did you come along for the ride and witness the shaking of the cryptosphere as foretold? The great gnashing of teeth and tearing of clothes continued to this day. The crypto markets are in a dizzying tailspin, but XRP holders remain strong, steady, and resolute. The powers that be, at the direction of the king, do not like the positive and incredible accomplishments that Ripple has achieved. The hand continues to throw distractions in Ripple's path, and as other coins flounder, XRP is still forging ahead. They all see it, and it worries them, for good reason. At first, they thought nobody would be interested in a so-called fake centralized banker corporate coin, as the other coins continued to try and promote themselves as an alternative to fiat while offering no solutions for the cross-border payments issue. Ripple continued to promote their technology and XRP as a bridge and solution for fiat cryptocurrencies and cross-border payments. The other coins thought they could beat the world system at their own game. The UN, the central banks, the IMF, etc. Ripple knew the rules and showed them how their new technology and XRP combined with their old ways could work with them. The other coins and their backers do not like this. They are currently trying to create new coins that supposedly will be better, faster, and more convenient than XRP. But in the end, since 99.999% of them do not have a massive team like Ripple, they end up all being another 9 days wonder. They thought they could beat down the free people with false information and doubt, so the pros would lead go of that precious XRP when their hands got weak. Exactly what I was just describing, right, folks? They beat us down with FUD, false information, and doubt. As the years went on, they realized that they were not winning, especially this year. The coins went headlong into fear and trepidation, and how can this be? The one coin with an incredible team behind it and a stalwart community kept a steady pace as they traversed the financial world, asking the governments and banks what regulations they can work with to make their technology and coins work for them and with them. The other coins were running around saying no to your regulations, no to your laws, we will go around them. By the way, can you work with us now? And now you're finally starting to see that more so than ever, right? As the rest of the space is cowering to the SEC, settling with the SEC, not putting up a fight because they don't have the strength and the cojones like Ripple does. They don't have the team that Ripple does. They don't have the funds and the money, the cash to spend $100 million on a lawsuit like Ripple does. It's great to see everyone come together. Good, bad, lovers, haters, truthsayers, honest people, dishonest people, great people, all types of people coming together, discussing and talking about Ripple and XRP. Do some good in the world and spread the good word about XRP and Ripple. 589. What a beautiful number. That one number, which has been spoken about since it first debuted like a cobalt blue shooting star flying at the speed of light, has brought about a great discussion inside and outside the XRP community. That number has so many meanings and reasons behind it. Remember, folks, it's not about price. What don't you get? All the haters, all the trolls. Oh, 589. Oh, yeah, it's going to flip the switch and go to 589. No, we've never said that. It's never been about that. Please get caught up to speed and get your game up. COMEX rule 589. Understand it. That number, that one breadcrumb has led so many discoveries about what XRP is now and what it can become. 589 is a code for what was getting ready to happen at the end of the year. 589 is the COMEX rule. 589 are the Nostro Vostro accounts unleashed. 589 is hope and knowledge. Since there is no regulatory clarity at this time, the price of XRP is being held back. There is no accident, so don't get tricked and get a case of weak hands. So many people haven't been able to make it. Bear market, recession, lawsuit lasting 2 years. weak hands giving up their precious XRP. Brad has said that the process itself has been slower than what he expected or wished for. Well, when it comes to governments, it will be. End of year, November 13, 2018, plans had been in place for years. And we talk about this all the time, right, folks? So much of what Trump did to switch our financial world. He opened up Pandora's box in 2020. So much, all these plans for years. Now, as the process progressed for Ripple, the writing that had been on the wall for Swift for so long finally bore fruit when Brad Garlinghouse threw it down and said bluntly, as he is wont to do, well, I think what we're doing and executing on a day-by-day basis is, in fact, taking over Swift. End of year, December 9, 2018. The Guardian publishes a story where Ripple calls for a complete overhaul in regards to cross-border payments. Right, and now we see ISO 222 just went live for Swift. End of year, December 12, 2018, exactly 1 month after Brad throws it down, Swift CEO Gottfried Lebrant announces he is stepping down. That's right. Ripple and XRP is crossing the Rubicon, and Swift knows its time has come. While people sit on their posteriors doing nothing, people like you have decided to take charge and do the extra work to take a chance that could possibly change you and your family's world while changing the rest of the world at the same time. Don't let anyone try to bring you down thinking that being positive and having a positive outlook on XRP, its price, and Ripple is a bad thing. I'm going to reread that, folks. Let's let that one sink in. Don't let anyone try to bring you down thinking that being positive and having a positive outlook on XRP, its price, and Ripple is a bad thing. The best thing to do is to have people discussing XRP and Ripple. As soon as people start looking into what Ripple and XRP can do, they realize the future of cross-border payments and internet commerce is something that Ripple is involved with and leading the charge. Yes, the die is cast and everyone is taking notice. Just like we reported yesterday, Yahoo finally getting around to reporting that Ripple is, in fact, for real. Late to the party. And everyone is taking notice now. Ripple on the brink of defeating the SEC. Brian, David, the rest of the team, they are all family. I see the hard work that these guys do day after day. What other cryptocurrency out there has a news story almost every day in the news? And it's so true, folks. There's a reason why there's 10,000 XRP YouTubers making videos every single day about this little special little cryptocurrency. Bitcoin may have a story once every few days. Ripple is always in the news, always in the minds of the financial world, always in conversations in the white halls of power when it comes to funds and new technology. JK, Ripple is the one leading the army and crossing the Rubicon. I believe in this company. I believe in the technology. I believe that this company can change people's lives. What other coin has a powerful team like Ripple behind them? None. Now, we've been talking about this. There is no team that even comes close to Ripple. Not one. Nowhere near. The Ripple team are resolute in their quest to change the world, and we're all watching and living it live. All in front of us on our TV screens, computer screens, and phones, we see Ripple changing the world. Like David says and keeps repeating, just say no to tribalism. There are other coins out there. Some of them have a different purpose and function. Some of them are just frauds, like Brad has repeatedly said. Either way, Ripple and XRP is here to bridge the different currencies and to show the world what a legitimate regulatory following cryptocurrency should be. There are too many. Why would banks want to use a centralized coin that is in the grips of countries like China? Coins that could be frozen and swapped by 3+ mining groups are not free and decentralized. Thank you all for your well wishes and messages. I see you sometimes. Matters require that I stop when that hand tries to grasp. I am hoping that my message comes across and makes a difference to you all one day when XRP comes out on top. Keep an eye on the regulations and some other interesting worldwide events in the works. 2019 will be a very interesting year to say the least. Don't stop. You are all lodestars. I am happy once again to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. May God bless you all. Now, I don't care who the bearable guy is. It doesn't matter to me who wrote that out. What matters to me is that future proves past, time and time again. People wonder why we're so tapped in, why we can predict all these events time and time again. We are ahead of the timeline, and we have positioned ourselves accordingly. Now, let's finish off with a little TA, our good friend Dr. Fender. Hi there all. XRP has broken the weekly trend both in RSI and price chart. XRP bullish. I expect we'll touch 50 cents in days, and staying above it will trigger $1 instantaneously. Enjoy your Sunday. Let's take a look at the chart here. Dark Defender showing us that the breakout is looking good here on the chart here for XRP. We broke through that resistance, and like I said, we'll go back to my chart. We're building support here above 40 cents. We absolutely love to see it. Now, the macro picture is still ugly, and what I just find so incredible, like I said, people are all so lost in the technical nuance, lost in the sauce, complaining because they no longer get views anymore, because their content's lame and nobody cares to watch them. So they try to keep on stirring up drama and do this and that. Yeah. How's that program working out for you? Well, we just continue to stay tapped in and breaking the situation down on a day-to-day basis and taking advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. Now, how has all of this been recorded and warned years in advance? I don't know. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know who the bear is. Don't care. What matters is it's all come true. It's all happening before us. As we titled tonight's episode, the dollar is being abandoned. And we still have people that are so confused, still asleep at the wheel. The West, in large part, sleeping. Many of them have no chance because they're too busy trying to be woke, too busy trying to be politically correct. We know how that program's working out, right? But for us, we have stayed over the target, right? Stayed over the target. We've built real businesses, still providing cash flow. And we take that extra cash flow and what are we going into? Commodities and utility cryptocurrencies. The other one is real estate, but we got to put the asterisk next to real estate because you got to be a real professional. You got to have real strategies to be able to execute successfully in real estate, right? But we're taking right now, this is the key. All you got to take away from this session is this. Create as much cash flow as possible, and it's going to be commodities and cryptocurrencies with utility. The other one would be real estate. The commodities to equities chart that I showed you guys last week shows us that the breakout is already started. We've already started the next super cycle for precious metals, for real commodities, and the money is flowing out of overpriced equities, and it is making its way into a few assets like Bitcoin. You guys see Bitcoin went up to 28K. The Bitcoin bros are happy. They're having a good time. But will it last? I don't think so. I don't think so because the macro picture is still ugly. We still got to clean out a lot of the crypto space. We still got to clean out a lot of the banking system, right? Whether they get provided a full backstop and the Fed pivots, that's fine. If they want to send it once again, we own the assets that are going to go up either way. Because they're backed into a rock and a hard place here. Either thing that they do here. Whether they pivot or not, the gig is up. Everybody else around the world is ditching the dollar, dumping our treasuries, buying gold, buying silver, building their economies based off of trade in other currencies. We got Joe Biden. We got a joke going on in DC, right? But we have to cut through the distractions and stay focused on what we can control. And the question for me right now is, do you have recession-proof cash flow? How much cash flow can we create? And how much of it do we need to dump into commodities, cryptos with utility, and real estate? That's how we beat. That's how we hedge against the dollar being abandoned and the dollar dumping, right? And it's how we take advantage of how this new financial system gets reset. With that being said, I still got quite a bit of coffee left. So why don't we open it up for some Q&A? How are we doing tonight? I see you guys. We having ourselves a little party tonight. 800 in the chat. If we haven't already, let's smash that thumbs up. Share this message far and wide. Let's do a little Q&A. How are we doing tonight? Thank you, folks. Still drinking coffee tonight. See you guys in the comments. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate you guys. Drop the questions down below. Oh, it's always a great time. Oh, it's always a pleasure. Now, remember, folks, we have no idea where this XRP thing's going to go, right? The most conservative predictions are, $3 to $6. The haters say that we'll never reach all-time high again. That's fine, right? That's fine. What I keep on bringing this back to is we have no idea what Ripple's going to be doing with that escrow, where that escrow is going to go, and that's the real tool that they have to actually move this XRP price. Ripple is the one institution, the one group, assuming that they still have control of the escrow completely and that it hasn't already been pre-allocated, right? They have the real ability to move the price in a major, major way, right? Because like I've said this many times before, people want to argue the fact that, people saying that XRP is not going to go to 10K, whatever, that's fine, right? I understand that. But what we are going to see is price discovery for XRP. And whether it's $5, whether it's $50, whether it's $589. And the Riddlers were right. What matters is that we have a plan and an exit strategy for that XRP, right? See, for me, I put out a little tweet to summarize this. I've been saying this to my community. God willing, we create generational wealth, but at the very least, we want to remain free from the enslavement system, the US dollar debt-based system that has so many people trapped. How do we do that? Right? Well, we create as much cash flow as possible, real businesses, and we're going to be using dollars for the foreseeable future, right? Even though the dollar is being destroyed in value, we're still using it, okay? So we understand that, but then as quickly as possible, we got to convert it into real assets, commodities, cryptos, and real estate. So that's the game plan. That's what we should be focused on. We spend so much time debating whether XRP is going to go to $5 or $50 instead of figuring out what the hell are you going to do with your XRP when it does do that. Most people aren't ready for XRP at $5. They're not ready for it at $50, right? I worry so much about this community on when we do finally get that breakout. I think that even just going back up to $2, even $1 right now during the bear market recession, yeah, we won't go past 45 cents according to some folks. And people keep on bringing it back. Well, it's 45 cents now. You and me, neither one of us, nobody besides Ripple and anybody who's done deals with Ripple knows what the pre-allocation price is. When they did the deal with R3, it was less than a penny. Ripple learned their mistake. They got out of that deal too, right? So we have no idea if pre-allocation deals are already done for XRP at $5, at $10. That is possible. And you would say, well, how is that possible, right? How could Ripple sell a pre-allocation option contract for XRP at $5 when it's trading below 50 cents right now? Because they have control of the escrow, right? There's only a limited, see, that's what we come back to, a limited supply. And I keep on reminding everybody that I believe that there's way less supply available out here than we're being led to believe. That the common narrative and accepted circulating supply as it's reported on the most major exchanges. There's not 40 billion, 50 billion XRP circulating. My XRP is not circulating. As I retweeted out and shared David's post about collateralizing your XRP, my plan is to keep most of my XRP forever, collateralizing it in loans, using it to leverage into more businesses and more real estate. My XRP is not for sale. Some of my XRP might be available for a liquidity pool. Some. A percentage. 100% of my bag is not circulating and it never will be. It's out of circulation forever. Some of my bag. And for many of you guys as well, right? And that's what's important to me. People are so hung up on, oh my gosh, how can you with this whole Jimmy Valley's Crypto Lewis conversation, how are you going to say that, you're just going to decide that your XRP is worth 10K? No. We're going to discover what the fair market value of XRP is, and we have to understand it has been suppressed, it has been manipulated. And we don't know if it's going to be $5, $50, or 50,000. Here's the other thing. People want to say XRP can never hit 10K. Nobody thought that it was going to take $1 trillion Zimbabwe dollars to go to the grocery store, but it did before they completely had to destroy and reset their currency, right? Nobody thought that they were going to have to take wheelbarrows of the in the Weimar Republic out there in Germany, wheelbarrows of cash. I mean, time and time again with fiat currencies. Don't you get it? XRP can't go to 10K. It can't go to 100K. How much can the dollar be devalued? Let me answer that for you. In 100 years since the inception of the Federal Reserve, we have destroyed about 97% of the value of the dollar. How much further can it go? Another 97%. We have no idea what's possible. And so for me, I'm not here to say that XRP is going to 10K. I'm just here to say that there are things at play that none of us know. None of us have the answer to, and that would be the pre-allocation contracts with Ripple's escrow. That's the $1 trillion, the quadrillion dollar question and elephant in the room is what happens with the escrow. Nobody has that information. And so nobody should be saying that XRP is for sure going to 10K, and nobody should be saying that it for sure can't go to 10K. I mean, if I told my great grandparents that the community that they built their own home in for $50,000, if I told them that the new homes being built in the community now are $550,000, they wouldn't believe me. If I would have told them back in the 70s or 80s when they 70s, 80s, whatever, you get my point, right? If I told my great grandma that I spent $7 for a mocha from Starbucks, she would want to smack me. And she should. It is absurd. $7 for a latte. That is our reality. $7 used to be your whole grocery run. You see what I mean? But we have these thought police that want to limit everyone's this whole conversation. They want to keep it to their limited capabilities. Crypto Hodler 10 spot. Zach, besides the obvious between gold and silver, why are you stacking silver? Do you expect it to bump more in ratio than gold? Yes, I do. Yeah. I've been buying both, but thinking of concentrating on silver for price. Well, for me, it's the smaller denominations are more better for barter. These are a lot better for barter, better liquidity, and smaller denominations are better when you actually need to use these for offline assets. Blackout barter is what I call it. That's why I have silver, but then also because I do think that the gains are going to be better, not financial advice. But the fundamentals right now tell us that silver should be at $60, $65 an ounce, just with the current dynamics, gold to silver ratio. And they've both just been heavily suppressed. But they're being heavily accumulated, and the demand is rapidly accelerating. So we're running with those data points. I'm not here to give you financial advice. It's just those are the data points that we're running with that give us that outlook. Yeah. So for me, yeah, the gains are going to be better in silver, but then for utility function, for barterability, blackout barter, systems down, banking apps not working, government bans our ability to buy beef. Maybe I need to go buy some beef with my silver. That's what I'm going to be doing. I use that example because it's ridiculous, but it gets the point across. I don't know how crazy this world's going to get. And like I said, God willing, we create generational wealth, but at the very least, we will never be getting on our knees for this enslavement system, for this US dollar debt-based system. No, we are going to free ourselves and free our families, God willing, creating generational wealth and surviving and thriving during such a difficult time that is going to wipe out so many. A historical time that the mainstream media is lying to us about through the various forms of deception, misinformation, and not even acknowledging the quadrillion-dollar elephant and solution in the room, which is XRP, on-demand liquidity. Thank you, Zach. Once again, Michael, I appreciate you. Michael, thank you for the 10 spot. Have you thought about partnering with gold and silver suppliers starting in the U.S. and expanding outward with your precious metals partnerships? Stay passionate. Yes, Michael, we actually do. If you guys want your precious metals, head on over to my website to the Contact Me page and just shoot me a message and tell me that you want some precious metals. We'll get you in touch and we will get them shipped directly to you. Right now, we are starting to see exchanges run up the premiums. We're starting to see supply running thin, supply running out. So it's important that we can still get this asset right now while they still have supply, right? So if you're thinking about making it, I'm not here to give you financial advice, but if you're thinking about doing it, get the process started now because we got to get them the money, they got to ship you the metals, and then we got to secure them. It takes a process. Absolutely. Delays in shipments, 2 weeks exactly. Yeah, it's already starting, man. And this is why we've been just hounding it, right? That if you're thinking of doing it, if you've made the decision for yourself, I'm not here to be giving you any sort of financial advice, right? But if you've made the decision that it's time to accumulate XRP, and if you've made the decision that it's time to accumulate some precious metals, I've been saying the same thing about both. A supply shock is incoming for both the gold and silver precious metals and other commodities as well. Lithium already did about 1,000% run. I mean, some of these metals and rare earth minerals have just gone stupid. Same thing's coming with XRP, in my opinion. Matt, I see you. Thank you. 5 spot. Zach, appreciate you. Hoping you're having a great day. I am Matt. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for the super chats. I appreciate your support all the time, Matt. Thank you. Steven Schneblin, 10 spot. Hi, Zach. I see you're working hard as usual. I appreciate you, Steven. We just stay working. We stay moving every single day, man. I mean, this is what wakes me up every single day with the purpose, with the mission. We continue to stay tapped in over the target and just showing our community how we're taking advantage of this opportunity. I give you guys the current events. I give you my take on it. If you disagree with me, that's fine. I just want to be sharing my ideas on the open platforms. I like to have the back and forth. I like for my ideas to be questioned. But then I also like to ask, how's your program working out? And what are you doing to take advantage of this opportunity? Because a lot of people want to FUD. They want to say this and that and debate, and riddlers are bad. The bearable guy offended me. I don't think that XRP will ever go to 10K. XRP will never go to $5. Whatever they're saying. Okay, that's fine. Cool. What are you doing right now to survive this? We haven't seen inflation like this in 40 years. We're seeing major banks fail. We're seeing countries ditch the dollar. We're seeing Main Street businesses fold. We're starting to see trillions of dollars in real estate equity lost since the peak of last year. What are you doing? Besides trolling in my comments, besides, being little fudsters, besides getting a little offended because a bear posted a picture and because people retweet it and say this is funny, and because someone says that XRP is going to be worth $1 million, we're crying. What are we doing? What are we doing? What business have you started? Right? What are you doing with real estate? Do you have precious metals? Got silver? How are we addressing the health crisis? See, this is where I've gotten recently. I've gotten to a point, and we've reached a moment here where it's like, okay, we are going to be successful. That is inevitable. The only challenge now is health, is staying alive. Literally, that's the only thing. And that's why I say God willing. And I just ask God, please, just give me another 10 years. I'm a young guy. I'm only 28 years old. I'd love to have a lot longer than that. But God, please, just 10 more years. I swear we will have stacked up generational wealth over the next decade. I will be able to leave my family behind. If it is my time, you give us another 5 years, we're going to be able to put a dent in that. But just another 10. But what are we doing about the health crisis, right? What are we doing to get good food? What are we doing to educate our children? How are you getting a raise at your job? How are you making sure that your job, the business that you work for, is going to, continue through this recession, right? What side hustle have you started? Are you still growing your business right now? Are you ready to move on real estate? How are you adjusting your real estate equity? Got silver. You got your essentials. You got food. No, you got FUD. You got offended because somebody said 10K XRP. You're mad that people give a bear attention. I don't know, man, I don't need to hound on it any further. You guys know where I come from. I'm just trying to have some fun while we ride out this storm, right? I'm trying to show my community a real program that's working. The question is, when we sell off, what will we be paid with? That's what I've been saying this whole time, right? That's the big question. I don't want fiat dollars. The reason why I got into this is to get away from fiat dollars. So for me, what I would like to do is just put up my XRP to go out and to basically leverage it for businesses, for real estate, and for more precious metals. Right? Now, if we've reset the dollar and now we have US CBDC, we're still going to be using it. Right? And I just continue to say, we still have to use it. You take one step out of the matrix. Right? You got one foot in, 1 foot out. And for the most part, we're out of the matrix. We've broke free from the matrix, as everybody says now, right? Well, you still got to use parts of the system. If you don't, unless you go completely off grid and you're going to go live in the woods and go live up in the hills, which we may end up having to do that. We may take our XRP wealth and just buy a homestead in the hills and live happily ever after. Little island down somewhere nice so we can go down to the island during the winter months. We may end up doing that. But unless you completely check out of society, right, you still are going to have to pay taxes in the US dollar. You're still, well, unless, like I said, you got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So for me, we keep enough cash within the system to pay our bills, operate our businesses. That's all we need in the system. That's all we're going to keep in the system. Other than that, it's commodities, cryptos with utility, and cash on the sidelines right now for real estate. Buying hard assets, hard currencies. Real estate is packaged up commodities. Copper, steel, lumber, everything that goes in, packaged up, bundled commodities into that house, right? And then you have the land, right? And then you have a tax-favored asset in real estate that makes it that much more sexy. That's why we love real estate. But like I said, I put the asterisk next to real estate because not anybody can make it. It's not participation trophy real estate market anymore. Cash flow, commodities, crypto, real estate. Oliver, another 5 spot. Thank you. That was hilarious when you said some people are after our XRP. I want to buy more, but I want a good range so I can move to XLM and XDC. Yeah, and like I said, the people that are really taking your XRP are the XRP Ledger tokens that got a story to sell you and not much to back it up. I wish that there was more legitimate projects being built on the XRP Ledger, but it's coming. Like I say, once nobody has to worry about the SEC suing them, institutions are going to come in. Myself and others are going to start building on the XRP Ledger. I will be building an NFT project on the XRP ledger with real utility. It won't just be a pixelated picture of me. Okay? We're going to create an NFT project on the XRP ledger with real value. That's just going to be part of what we're going to do on the XRP ledger. And that's why I'm holding so much damn XRP. Give me another bear market. Give me another year of this bear market. Give me another year sub 50 cent XRP. Watch what we do. Give me another year sub $30 silver. Watch what we do. Right? Zach, people are just understanding that there are opportunities for better multipliers in the space. Unsaturated picks with good tokenomics is what people are waking up to. Yeah, some people get lucky. They get a 10x, they get a 20x. But if you invested $200, what have you accomplished? Have you created generational wealth? No. That you know, that's why, you know, the stories are nice to hear, but you know, they're so that is not how you build wealth. Christy, I see you. Thank you. I see you. Thank you. Thank you, Christy. Thank you for the love. I saw your comment that you sent me, by the way. Yeah, we'll get you in there. Matt says another 5 spot to test this super chat button. The super chat button's still working, isn't it, Matt? Thank you guys. And oh, by the way, that thumbs up button is still working out there. I see you guys. I see all 700 of you guys in the chat, and you guys still haven't smashed the thumbs up yet. No love in the chat? Crypto Airy in the chat? There she is. Crypto Airy. Huge shout out. Great research. Good stuff. We respect it. We respect it. Okay? Just don't know why we got to twist narratives. Why we got to twist and run. Keep it going. The bear market has, you know, the bear market has created a lot of tension in the space, right? There's a lot of tension, a lot of infighting. This happens every bear market. And it happens when you're in a 2-year lawsuit. Remember, guys, we have the same enemy. That's the point. Well, I guess for some of you guys, you're not in the United States, so you're just laughing and making fun of us. Here in the United States, we're trying to fight this fight here. Legal and political battle that I wish we were not having to fight. Amen. Amen. I see you guys. Thank you. Aunt Lynn says that she started stacking at $6 per ounce. There you go. Linda Williams, 20 spot. Look at you guys. Thank you so much for the support, guys. I love you guys so much out there. You guys are amazing, you know. You really held it down. Really held it down here. Appreciate you guys so much. All right, folks, what do you think? Should we fire up a little Twitter space? How about that? I think we've had enough Q&A. I think it's time to go over to Twitter. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's head on over to Twitter. Let's run it up. Let's have fun. What do you guys say? That sound good to you guys? Let me know in the chat. You guys want to run on over to Twitter? Fire up a quick Twitter space. Crypto Hodler 68, 5 spot. Zach, thoughts on this new Snapshot X Core? I hold all 3 in Zum, so I get it in one drop. Is it worth anything? We're going to see, man. I think that Corium is another example of people trying to use the XRP community. And I'm all here for it. It's free money. It's another perk of holding XRP, right? People are waiting, when's the passive income coming for XRP? Well, we got our Songbird, we got our Flare, now we're getting X-Core. I know there's been others. There's airdrops happening every single week. In our Discord community, we have an airdrops channel that's just dedicated all to XRP Ledger airdrops. And we got community members that have been making good money, passive income, just by holding XRP and setting up the trust lines. A lot of these projects, though, 99% aren't going to make it, in my opinion. 99% aren't going to make it. XRP will achieve the unachievable. Amber, I see you. Thank you, Amber. Appreciate that. 5 spot. Thank you very much. Guys, it's been a fantastic Sunday night session. Let's head on over to Twitter Spaces, okay? I might have to grab an adult beverage. We'll have a little bit of fun over there, huh? Okay. I love all you guys. Thank you so much. God bless all of you. We will see you guys in the next one, okay? Take care out there.